right, hi guys. I think we're rolling here. I had to move my computer and stuff, so hopefully everything works. Hopefully I reassembled everything properly. This is gonna be today. I'm gonna only be streaming for about an hour, so we're gonna try to keep things moving along here. What we're actually going to be doing today is trying out a calibration tool that I saw in the forums, and a couple people were talking about it. A couple people thought it was useful, and I saw a couple people had some issues with it. So that's actually what we're printing here in the right meow. This is a small tool you can print to help you calibrate your PINDA sensor, and I'll pull it up on the. Hello, guys in chat. Got some people trickling in already. What we're actually looking at is this thing here. This is a tool made by the guy over at Nerdville, and you can kind of see what we're dealing with here. This is a tool that has two different levels, and from what I understand, you just bring your nozzle down to touch the thinner part, and then this thicker part should put your PINDA sensor pretty close to where it should be. And here's a picture of it in Simplify. It's a really simple piece. Seems fairly well designed, laid out nicely. It's not overly plain. But you see, we just have two different heights. We're going to bring our nozzle down to here, and this is supposed to put our PINDA sensor close to where it should be. I would be surprised if it actually gives us like an exact height. There's a lot of little things that are going to contribute to like the actual thickness of this. Like if you print this at say a 200 micron layer height, the overall height, if your machine's calibrated properly, I should say, the overall height is going to be a multiple of 200 microns, and if you print it at a different layer height, it's going to be a different, multiple. So I didn't really show that, but in the Thingiverse page for this item, he didn't really address that at all. I think it's something that is worth addressing. It's potentially like a trivial amount for it to be off, but I think it was worth mentioning. Hi guys, Sparky. What's up, Sparky? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Filano, Andre, Dawn, Chaos, Floor? What's up, guys? So we have that part printing there. It's about 30% done. It should only be about another 15 minutes. So in the meantime, I wanted to talk briefly about some plans for the channel moving forward. You notice I didn't stream the last few days. I was fairly ill, especially yesterday and the day before. I spent the bulk of those days trying not to throw up and ultimately failed. Throwing up's not that bad. We've all been there. But the last time I got sick and ended up kind of having to evacuate the internals, I had a little problem where I kind of like hemorrhaged my esophagus and was throwing up blood for a few days. That was a terrifying experience, and I was kind of afraid of that happening again. So that's what I've been up to. I don't know what you guys have been up to, but that's what I've been doing with myself. Aaron said, as long as your live Z is within 0.0 and negative 0.4, you are golden. I agree. I mean, that seems to be the consensus among people in the know. But if any of you guys have been browsing like the Facebook groups and stuff, I've seen people that have their live Z and like I think the one guy said his was at like negative 1.6 and was kind of he was kind of trying to spread the word that that's fine. You can go ahead and do that, and that's fine. That's not fine, in my opinion. I think if your live Z is anywhere near negative 1, you should probably tweak the position of it a little bit. But Aaron said Lee in Slack actually got his live Z to 0. That's pretty good. Hashtag Team 800. Yeah, if your live Z is at any negative value that's like Aaron mentioned, over about negative zero point 0.4, you should probably adjust the probe because you're trying to compensate for something being wrong. Like your probe's kind of adjusted wrong if your offset's that much. So it's kind of worth resetting your live Z, adjusting the probe, and trying to get a little closer. But like I was saying, since I've been doing a whole bunch of nothing lately, I was spending some time like thinking about like the future of the channel and stuff, and I'm gonna start some different series here in the near future. One of them is I've been printing this stuff, kind of like I mentioned before. I've been running these dungeon tiles all night, every day of the week, and I've been slowly knocking some stuff out. But this stuff is so cool. Oh my god, this is like I finally got basically the crypt room layout that I wanted to start with completely finished. And as you see, we have like a gated archway here, and then all the bone walls and stuff that go the whole way around, and all the floor pieces that match, and all the outside pieces, and curved walls and stuff. But you see underneath, they all interlock with cool little clips and stuff. So this is like an intact unit that you can just like bring on the table, and sweet. It's so sweet. But one of the reasons this was so cool to me is I had done a fair amount of Skyrim modding in the past. Like I used to build dungeons and stuff and release them on some of the mod sites. But this is almost an identical replica of one of the final rooms in one of the dungeons I did in like a Skyrim dungeon mod that I put out. So that's very cool. I even have like the it's here somewhere. I even have like the little sarcophagus and all that stuff. So one of the series I want to do is going to be like I don't have names for any of this stuff yet, but one of the series is going to be 100% tabletop gaming, like RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, Hero Quest, that kind of stuff. And we're going to be discussing in relative detail like how to print this stuff out, settings that work, some of the settings I found that don't work, and finishing the pieces. Like I'm going to paint these all up and make them look as cool as I possibly can. So we're going to be doing a series on that stuff. And all of these series to start, I'm going to be doing one video a week and trying my damnedest to be as consistent as possible. That's like hard for me to do. But if any of you guys are interested in that stuff, you have a lot to look forward to. I've got a lot of stuff like in the works already. Like one of the things I want to do is people take those flickering LED candle tea lights, and you can make little like battery operated lighting and stuff for your dungeons. Makes it look really sweet. I'm going to be doing some tutorials on that. I actually want to like print some pieces out because most people are just like hacking these tea lights with hobby knives and stuff and covering with hot glue and doing them that way. But I'd like to actually print some pieces out, like design some pieces, print them out, and have little kits that you can assemble yourself to have really nice like lighting and stuff. That's one of them. And then one of the other ideas I have is kind of tentative. I'm not really sure about it, but I want to do like a weekly kind of like, hey, that's cool kind of video, because there's so much stuff in the 3D printing community that's just so cool. Like some of it's really simple. Like something I've printed for my wife. Like there's so many little gifts and stuff you can make. Like Christmas is one of those. Like these snowflakes, right? Like I've printed out all these snowflakes. This was the batch that ran last night. And nice little snowflake ornaments. But there's a couple things you can do when you're finishing these as far as like painting and stuff that make them look kind of amazing. And it only takes like a few seconds a piece. So we're going to be doing some stuff like that. And always, like I'm always open to suggestions. But yeah, I just wanted to share some of that info. Kind of lost my train of thought there, but do you try to design something with Fusion 360? No, when I do the the torches slash sconce things for the like little LED lights and stuff. That'll all be done in Fusion 360. Tinkercad's cool, but it is time to move on. Time to move up in the world, and we're gonna from this point on be doing everything in Fusion 360. I've already been messing with it a little bit in my own time to kind of get familiar with it. It's not bad to use. If you've ever used any like real CAD, Fusion 360 is like as an easy transition in my opinion. But yeah, snowflakes. Man, do they ever make... I wish I had some finished ones down here, but I don't have them down here. But they make such cool little ornaments. And they're so cheap. So cheap. I would guess you have maybe 15 or 20 cents a piece in those, and they make such nice little gifts. We got the glitter paint from Walmart, and you spray them with that, and get little nice pieces of ribbon to put, and yeah, and they look like they're store-bought stuff. So those are really cool. Other things, I'll have 2 videos coming out in the next day or two. Most of it's Christmas stuff that's going to be coming out in the immediate future. But these things are so cool. This is... You'll have to wait for the video for details on this, but I can show you. Oh, crap. He won't fit. He won't fit. Hold on. I gotta sandpaper this real quick. It totally kills the effect if his arms aren't in place. But these were another cool little gift that we've been making for family members, and like my mom lives out of state. We sent her some of this stuff, and she loved it. Because a big part of this, like I've been an old school nerd my whole life, so like painting and finishing stuff has always been like a big part of almost any hobby that I've been a part of. And it just meshes really well with 3D printing. Because you can do some stuff, like if you want to print in a bunch of different filaments, like if you have the multi-material kit, you can do some basic color work just with the filaments you choose to use, but if you develop a little bit of skill for painting and stuff, you can make some really, really cool cool finished products. Like I've been watching... Oh, I can't think of his name. Chaos Cortec? I'm pretty sure that's his name. But he's had a series lately about... for Christmas, basically, and he's been doing, like, a design every day, and, like, he did, I think, Terrence and Phillip and some other South Park characters and stuff like that, and he's actually painting them, and, man, it just really elevates, like, the final product. But I thought these were super cool. It's a little s'more. Like, it's a little marshmallow man with 2 graham crackers and a piece of chocolate under there, and you print them out in separate pieces. And they look kind of cool as is. Like, if you wouldn't do any finishing work, it's still kind of cool because you can tell what it is. Like, there's 2 little marshmallows. I don't know why he has arms, but he has arms. But these look absurdly cool painted up. They look very cool painted up. So I did a real short video that I'm going to try to get edited and stuff today, and maybe put up today, more likely tonight or tomorrow. But stuff like that. There's so many little little prints you can do with a little bit of finishing work that just make fantastic little like gifts to give people. And it's especially cool because it's not something you can buy. Like, you can't go buy those. Yeah, Sparky's right. It's Garrett from Chaos Cortec. He's been doing a video like every day leading up to Christmas. But sorry, I'm just catching up on chat here. Has anyone successfully printed the scissor lift? I personally haven't. I'm sure all of us have seen Barnacles' video, and there's a couple other guys on YouTube that have. It's a super cool print. What he's talking about is it kind of looks like a block, but when you print it, it's actually like a functional scissor lift that prints all like intact in place. And that's one of those prints that I'd love to do, but my machine's tied up like 24/7 printing other stuff. That's why I need a second machine. That's like the first thing you realize when you get into 3D printing is you just need more machines. Sparky said she printed the scissor lift just fine. Yeah, I think it's a little sensitive to like the orientation and stuff. You have to be a little careful with that. The scissor lift, I mean. Yeah, and that's one of those prints. Like we've discussed before, how you can when you're in your slicer, and this is simplified, but you can do it in any of the slicers that I'm aware of. It's worth going through like this in the preview and just making sure like you don't see anything that's going to be printing in midair, or if you can like foresee any potential problems. It's one of the things this function's like useful for. Because sometimes it's easy to overlook stuff, but that gives you like a nifty little way of keeping an eye on things. I've actually saved myself a lot of failed prints by taking the time to check that out before I actually sliced it. But no, the scissor lift, unless I'm mistaken, is that one of the NASA files? I think that's one of the NASA files that NASA actually like put out. But they also have like the little wrench that prints in a single. It's not a single piece, but it's a single print, and it prints all in one go. And it actually has like a ratchet function that's all like integrated. I think our thing's done here, so we'll take a look at this, and it looks all right. You can see it printed fine, no issues. There's our little print. I'll let the bed cool down for a second. The PINDA tool is from the guy over at Nerdville, who's also like kind of like a fledgling 3D printing channel. Oh, Aaron said he did a video on it. I actually didn't see his video. I saw. I don't even think it was him, but I saw someone post it in the unofficial MK2 Facebook group. Let me check. Yeah, I will double check because I don't want to say this wrong. We can look at it together. I don't think he really recommended any settings here. Like this is the Thingiverse page. This is like Nerdville's actual page. And yeah, he doesn't really recommend any settings. So yeah. Holy crap, look at that skirt. That is a serious skirt on that piece there. Somebody's having some adhesion issues. Holy moly. But yeah, it doesn't look like he actually recommended. Wow, I've never seen a skirt that big. Maybe we were missing. Was that really that big? Right, guys? Am I looking at that right? That is a serious situation there. Holy crap. Somebody's afraid of having adhesion issues. But yeah, it doesn't look like he actually recommended any settings. That's why I said I think it's worth, 5 to 6 millimeter skirt or brim. Yeah. Somebody must be having adhesion issues. Because you see, I don't even use one. I do the kind of purge strip around the outside. Just because I think that's good practice in general. But no, so there we have it. There's our little tool. Seems cool. Seems good. The top surfaces seem good. I'll ask Aaron, what, just to double check, because I'm gonna measure this. What is the general consensus on distance from the hot end nozzle to the bottom of the PINDA probe? Wasn't it like a millimeter, I believe? I could be wrong. But we'll get a measurement on this here. Because I printed this with the, I still have the 0.25 nozzle on. I gotta be honest. I've become like addicted to that thing. I've been printing everything I print with the 0.25 millimeter nozzle. It adds a little bit of time to the prints, but the overall improvement in resolution and stuff is kind of hard to give up. It is pretty sweet. So it looks like the thinner surface here is just at 1.9 millimeters. And the thicker one is at, we'll say 3.15. So let me, what did I say? I'm terrible at math on stream. So we're at 1.9 and 3.15. So that's what, 1.25 difference? Is that right? Man, I'm bad at math when I'm streaming. Like that little bit of stress and anxiety just kind of like shuts the math center of the brain down. Yeah, 1.25 difference. Oh, Adam, did you print this out? That's what I was saying. Depending on your layer height and print settings and stuff, it's going to make the overall relationship between these two thicknesses fluctuate. That's okay. So those of you guys who can't see chat, Adam Fusions said that he printed this out and his had a 1.15 millimeter difference, and mine is showing a 1.25 millimeter distance. That's one of the concerns I've had about this thing as soon as I saw it, and it's kind of I wanted to take some time today and to give it a test, because people. Joey Nugget says, "Oh, Joey did the dime thing." People tend to flock to these kind of like assistant print kind of things, and it always concerns me because 3D printers aren't great at printing things dimensionally accurate. Like just because you have something at a certain dimension in a drawing doesn't mean it's actually going to print out that way. What nozzle width am I using? I'm using the 0.25 still. Yeah, the 0.25. Like I said, I've gotten kind of hooked on that thing. I think I'm going to switch to the 0.3 soon and just kind of like hit that middle ground between the 0.4 and the 0.25. Because like I said, I've gotten kind of addicted to the resolution. It's just nice being able to print things and know that, you know, all your fine detail is going to be really nice. But okay, so I'm gonna yank the machine over here, and we're gonna try to use this to calibrate our PINDA probe and see what it gives us here, just for shits and giggles. Because mine is actually adjusted fairly well. I actually had it a little bit closer, but I don't know. I switched it again. I think my Z height is at about minus 0.3 most of the time, depending on the layer height I'm printing at. It goes down to about minus 0.28, which I'm fine with. I could get it a little closer, but that's fine for me personally. But I'm gonna bring the machine over here, get stuff out of the way. But yeah, we're gonna adjust it, and then we'll see what our live Z ends up being. But I just kind of worry because, like I said, especially new people, they seem to really latch on to these assistant kind of prints, and just the wild variance in dimensional accuracy from printer to printer kind of like concerns me, especially with things like the PINDA where it's so sensitive. So we're gonna move our axis. We'll just get it over here in the center. And move our bed back a little bit. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to loosen the PINDA probe. And the machine is cool right now. It's not actually heated up. Read Macy's comment here. Nillabean, a way to avoid changing Z adjustment is to print the first layer as 0.2 millimeters all the time, regardless of weight. Oh, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. The point being that just basically if you do your first layer the same height, regardless of nozzle, of whatever nozzle you happen to be using, like, I personally don't know if that's the case, but that seems to make sense. Basically, print your first layer the same height all the time, and you won't need to adjust your Z height. Like I said, I don't know if that's true, but that sounds like it makes sense. Test it first without loosening the PINDA. I could do that. Let's just see what kind of relationship I have here to begin with. We'll go to move axis. We're going to go to the move Z. And we're just going to lower this until the nozzle is kind of lightly pressing against the thinner part of the print. And I keep moving it with my finger like an idiot. Let me move the second camera over here so you can see. There the PINDA is hitting the PINDA part of this print, the PINDA part of the print. But my nozzle is still, I would say, 3/4 of a millimeter away. I'll see how this works out. We'll try it. See if I can get this under here. Sometimes these angles aren't that easy to get. And I'll make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but you see my PINDA is actually hitting the piece, and my nozzle is not. There we go. Can everybody see that? Is that all right? Let me, you can see there we're coming down. And my PINDA is actually touching right there before it kind of like puts pressure on the bed. Right there. There my PINDA is touching and the nozzle isn't. And like I said, I would guess that's, I would say half to 3/4 of a millimeter away. But no, Andre, I actually didn't, any of you guys wondering, I didn't actually loosen the PINDA. I always struggle with this freaking adjustable wrench. I think the threads on this are the opposite direction that they usually are on an adjustable wrench, and it always like throws me off. It takes my mind like a few moments to my Z calibration. I don't know if I can actually see that with I don't think, again, somebody might be able to correct me. I don't think I can actually check that without a print going, unless I'm mistaken. My live Z adjust. But like I said, it tends to be right around -0.3. Yeah, it tends to be between -0.33, I should say, be more specific. Between -0.33 and -0.28, depending on the first layer height and, you know, whatever else is going on. Live Z is under settings and can be viewed if your Z height is 2 millimeters or lower. I'll check it out. So we're here in settings. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, mine's at... My live Z is at minus 0.35 right now. So, yeah, it is in there in the settings menu, so we all learned something else today. I didn't know that. But, yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and adjust this. I'm going to reset my live Z height. Wow, that's a funny noise that makes. You can hear kind of like the micro steps. Okay. So we're going to move our Z-axis up. Ooh, not down, up. Up, up, up. I'm going to loosen the PINDA now. Going to loosen the PINDA. Bring the hot end down to the top of the part that we printed, our little tool here. Okay, so it looks like we're just touching it there. Andre, so if you change the PINDA level... Oh, Andre said at 0.3 I wouldn't touch it. I totally agree. I totally agree. If your live Z is at 0.3 already, I wouldn't bother doing this. But I just wanted to test like how useful this tool actually is. That was like the purpose of this, because like I said, especially newer people are probably going to like rush out and print this, which it's kind of one of those weird situations where if you're able to print this even remotely accurately, you probably don't need to adjust your live Z. So it's kind of one of those things. If you have a functional printer, you're kind of already past the point that you need this, more than likely. So yeah, we're just checking it out. All right, so the PINDA is actually kind of a pain. I wish there was a way that... I wish there was, because any of you guys that can't see, the way the nut is kind of held by the plastic there, it makes it kind of awkward to adjust the height, because you need to like adjust it like one face of the nut and then bring it back down in the thing. Yeah, the lower thread is already unscrewed. I know you guys can't really see it, but the lower nut's loose. So we need to go down a tiny little bit. So we'll rotate it one face. I'm trying to remember which way this should go. So there's one face we rotated, and we'll press it down in and see how close that is. It looks like that's actually a little too far. That's what I said. It kind of like introduces a granularity to the adjustment that you can't really circumvent, being that you can only yeah, you know what I'm saying. I'm struggling with words right now, but okay, so that looks as close as we're going to get right there, because we're just touching the tool. Yeah, we moved the PINDA down like I would say a half a millimeter, if I had to guess. Yes, wrong direction, guys. I did turn it the wrong direction at first, but we got it fixed. And we actually had our probe rotate a little bit. Okay, so there we're just... You can see we're just lightly brushing both the nozzle and the probe. So I would guess that's about as close as we could hope to get with a tool like this. So I'm going to try to hold that in place and tighten everything up. In theory. In theory, we're going to tighten it. And of course, like I said, I wish there was a little better way of adjusting this. Tightening it actually brought it down a moderate amount. So I'm going to loosen it, and we're going to have to back it out a little bit. It's actually pushing the bed. It's pushing the bed down a bit. Okay, so there we go. And again, I'm gonna try to hold this. I'm gonna get a pair of pliers and hold it. Adjusting the PINDA is definitely kind of like a fiddly process. I do have a 12mm wrench. Aaron asked if I had one, but it's not readily available. It's over in a toolbox. So we'll just make do with this right now. And again, I always like struggle with threads. Okay, so which way do we need to go? Let me grab, that is a good idea. I'm going to grab a 12mm wrench. I'm going to do that quick. I think it's worth the moment it's going to take. Oh, you gotta love disorganized toolboxes. The first bunch of wrenches I pulled out 4 9mm wrenches. Okay, so we'll double check our height. Sorry. So everything seems good. So I'm gonna try to hold on to this, and we will snug this back up. Okay, and you see our piece is still under there pretty good. It's just lightly brushing both the nozzle and the PINDA. So like I said, I think that's about the best you could hope to get with this tool. So let's go ahead and see how this treats us. And let me tend to this camera. Let's get it this way. And we kind of have the same problem we had before, where I have this this different size nozzle in here, so we're gonna have to just use a well, remember, Aaron, we can't do the V2 calibration because I have the 0.25. But yeah, we'll do our calibrate XYZ. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. And I think it's good to do this like periodically anyway. Oh shit. Oh shit. I did what I've like said to not do like a million times. I just hit that like a billion times. So this is going to... Oh, it stopped right at the top. Whenever you do that, don't turn the knob a bunch. Turn it in small steps. Otherwise... Okay, there we go. Sometimes, like, when you turn it one way, it'll like queue like a bunch of steps up, and you can turn it backwards, and it'll take some out of the queue. But when you're raising that to the top, it actually makes the whole axis go up regardless of which way you rotate the nozzle. So yeah. Like Joe said, you can hit the reset if you panic. But I've done that a few times, and it like puts the steppers up at the top, or like puts your carriage up at the top, and then the steppers have like 50 steps left, and it just sits there and skips all those steps. Not a pleasant sound. All right, we can turn this camera off for the time being. All right. This freaking cable. All right, that'll take a minute. You guys know the old XYZ thing. So now I hope this does end up being like a useful thing, because I know people, including myself, have struggled a little bit. Like, I remember when I adjusted it the first couple times, it was a bit of a struggle to get your PINDA height, you know, kind of right. So hopefully this will be useful to people. Have you been printing anything useful or interesting lately? Damn right I have. I don't know if you were here when I showed you guys this. This is freaking interesting to me. This is like the modular dungeon system. I know you can't really see the details, but these are like all the skull walls, and like the gate has like the removable gate and all that stuff. And this stuff's all modular. Well, like, for instance, like, you can pull the gate off, and it uses these cool little clips, and everything clips together. But I've been slowly working on this. I've been printing these pieces like every evening and letting them run overnight. And I finally got, like, this is like a crypt. I finally got the crypt room, like, finished. So, yeah. This was cool, in my opinion. Because, like, there's so many pieces. Like, here's, like, a regular, well, let me show you. Because the detail on this thing, you guys might start to see why I got freaking hooked on the 0.25 millimeter nozzle. Like, look at the finish on that. It's just, like, amazing. Like, this is one of the doors, and they all are, like, functional. They actually print in like, a single print. And then there's just, like, some supports along the gap and stuff, and you have to, like, break everything free. But these things were super cool. The only downside is these are paid files. This is from the, I'll put links in this, video later. I guess I can throw them up here now if anyone's interested. This is from the Rampage dungeon system. Bam, there's a link. I threw it in chat. I'll add it to this video after I'm done streaming today. But these are all part of the Rampage system, and you see they have like the clip system, so you can like actually fasten the pieces together, and they snap together, snap apart. But yeah, let me show you some detail on this thing, right? So here's this floor tile doesn't. I don't have enough clips for everything yet. But check this freaking thing out, man. Like, the detail on this is just like fantastic. But, like, here's one of the skull walls. And you see, it just looks great with the thinner nozzle. I know I got, like, shadows here from something. But, yeah, they look sweet. They take a little while to print. I think, like, the other night, I printed a pair of these curved wall sections, and it doesn't include the floor. Some of the clips, like, you have to sand the clips down because they're a little tight. But a pair of these curved walls with all the bones and stuff, the skulls, nice blocks on the back. I think a pair of these was taken like 7 hours because they're at a 0.15 layer height with the 0.25 nozzle. But the detail is just fantastic. These are actually better than a lot of the, like there's a company called Dwarven Forge and a couple other companies that sell like cast products. And I personally think these look better than some of that stuff. So, yeah, I've been pretty pumped getting all this stuff knocked out. But I know someone asked if I had already done like the channel update and stuff earlier. Oh, and then like the gate. The gates are freaking sweet. Because again, they're slotted with the door in there. And they all like function and stuff. So, yeah, if you ever play like D&D, I know the floors, like it's hard to see the detail on the floors, but they're like stone tiles with like bone patterns throughout them. Because this is like the crypt. And then it comes with like some other stuff like the sarcophagus and stuff. And with that nozzle and this layer height, this almost looks like a molded part. Like it was injection molded, but you can see it's 3D printed. But yeah, really cool stuff. But someone had asked if I had done the channel update yet, and I actually did, but I will talk about it again because I'm pretty pumped to do this like little series here. Let me adjust the zoom on this camera. We're gonna tempt fate and put autofocus on. All right, so here we have like our little crypt. I can zoom this up because there's you don't need to see my stupid face, and all that's going on with the printer is the XYZ. Right, so here's our little crypt with all kinds of shadows, unfortunately. Here, maybe that'll help a little bit. But I've also, like, another part of this series is going to be, like, reviewing file sets. Like, all this orange stuff is of a file set. Like, I have, now it's, like, too bright. Like, this is a bookcases. Again, of course, moving the light actually hurt things more than it helped. Let me... There we go. It's a little better. But like this is a company that sells like file sets, and this is like a bookcase they have. Because people were asking if I was going to fill this with items. Cool little like chairs and stuff. And again, the detail on this stuff is just like fantastic. Printing it with like the finer nozzle. But yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff like tables that like the legs print out separately, so they're nice and detailed. Like wooden plank tables, crap like that. Bunch of different sizes, like beds. So yeah, I definitely have stuff to fill it with. And then, like some of the cooler things this company makes are like actually like these treasure chests that actually have like the lid that prints separate, and kind of just like clicks in place and then functions. But yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff. So that's one of the series that I wanted to start doing in the near future. I'm going to start shooting some of those videos soon. With 3D printers like hitting the consumer market and finally becoming like affordable and stuff, there's a lot of companies that are cropping up that sell files to cater to people that have like, you know, a 3D printer in their house finally. And I want to start reviewing some of that stuff because it's kind of like new territory. And that's what that series is going to be all about, is actually, I want to take, like, this table here, I think is what I want to start with, is I want to cover this 4-foot by 4-foot table with a finished, painted, completely furnished dungeon. And kind of related, I also saw there was a guy that just released, like, 300 printable minis for, like, D&D type games, like 25 to 32 millimeter minis that you can print yourself. But I want to do that series, like, from start to finish, like, from printing, recommending settings, materials, to, like, the finishing, painting, all that stuff. And then a couple related things, like I was talking earlier about, like, the little flicker LED lights. I want to design my own little print to make little like sconces and stuff that have like little battery operated lights and stuff in them. But yeah, that excites me. I know we haven't talked about like gaming a whole lot on this channel yet, but that's going to be one of the like video series I do, where I do like at least a video every week, kind of progressing that project. Because I hit like the first point that matters. Like I have the first room printed out, so I can actually start like painting it and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty pumped about like all the companies, and it's almost literally every day there's a company coming out with STLs and stuff that you can like actually purchase. Because as it is right now, some of them are a little pricey, but I think as more and more companies like enter that market space, competition's going to drive prices down like it always tends to. Beanie need a new spool holder. I absolutely do. Some of them, like the crypt stuff, I'll show you real quick what's included with the crypt. Because I haven't downloaded all these files off of my account from that company yet, but I do have a chunk of them. So I'll just show you my monitor here. So here's like the 3 main groups for the crypt set. And like these are the floors and risers. Like you have all the floor sections, the curved ones, all these little like pieces that let you vary. Like there's the sarcophagus thing, and there's actually variations that you can integrate into the floor and stuff. But all these little accent pieces. So that's the floors, and then the mid walls are the ones that like actually allow you to connect between floor sections. So you have those, and then you also have the like the actual wall sections that I was showing you, like the bone walls and all that jazz. But I think, like, if you followed the link to the Indiegogo campaign, the set I got was $79, and it's everything. It has like the crypts, the regular dungeons. Like, there's hundreds and hundreds of files in there. But like if you just want like a little chunk of it, I think like that crypt stuff is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's $9.99 for that whole like crypt set. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. But the nice thing is you can buy it in little chunks if you want to just like get your feet wet, or you just want to do like a small project. Because with like the basic dungeon set, you could use that exclusively and do everything you'd want to do. Nicholas said, even though the MK2 is awesome, it's not that foolproof. No, you definitely want to be a tinkerer. I've talked before about wanting to do my review here in the near future, because I'm kind of like torn about how to do it exactly. This isn't like buying a hairdryer, for sure. You kind of need to be like a tinkerer at heart and be willing to learn things. We got... look, I'm going to show it just because, hell yeah. Check that out. Axes are perpendicular. Oh yeah. Oh, I want to show you guys too while I'm here. So it's just telling us we have to do the thing. Some of you guys that came along on the journey to perpendicular will probably find this interesting. But I will show you how... Let me get it lined up here. I guess it doesn't look all that wonky, but I just think it's funny how like all my axes are perpendicular, but yet look at... I don't know how well that translates. I can't get the camera straight. Like if you look at the heat bed to the actual threaded rod, it is not square. It's out by a couple millimeters, and I just think that's like kind of funny that my frame is rather overtly not square, but all my axes are perpendicular. Because like I said, I'm gonna leave it be for the time being. But yeah, at some point we're gonna be tearing this bad boy apart again, and getting our threaded rod frame square and our axes perpendicular. be a little more methodical about it this time. Okay, so I think what we're going to do, like, we could do the V2 calibration, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the V2 is sliced for a 0.4 nozzle and we have a 0.25. So what I'm actually going to do is just I think I'll actually do one of these snowflake prints. And we'll adjust our Z height with that and see what it ends up coming out to. Let me catch up on chat here real quick. I know I was doing a lot of talking. Lee asked, would the 0.15 nozzle make the details any better? Yes. I mean, my experience with the 0.2 moving from the 0.4 is unequivocally yes. Yes, it will make the details better. It's kind of like you have to be realistic about it. Depending on your layer height, like if you're printing with the 0.15 and are still using like a 0.15 layer height, like I did with the 0.25, it's not going to improve like your layer lines necessarily. But if you can imagine taking like a single layer isolated, like the I don't know how you'd want to think of that, like the XY axis details, those will be much tighter. Like if you look at a piece like this that has like the grain that's running up and down the door and it's like in the XY axis, you know, that kind of detail will improve dramatically with a thinner nozzle. But your overall, like your layer lines and stuff are still going to be dictated by like the layer height that you use for the most part. And like Aaron said, with the 0.15 millimeter nozzle, they are very prone to clogging. So if you do go with a nozzle that small, you want to make sure that you're not printing with like real cheap PLAs, I would imagine. And it's something I haven't gotten the freaking video out yet, but there's something you can do called nozzle seasoning, where you use like cooking oil to actually kind of impregnate the metal in your nozzle with oil to help lubricate it. That seems like something that the 0.15 would benefit from more than almost any other nozzle diameter. But no, one of these days I'm going to get a 0.15 and do some testing with it. Since I have like a plethora of great files to test it on, I think it's getting to about time. But yeah, like Joey said, probably extruding at higher temperatures would help. With some of the issues that you might run into with the 0.15, but overall, no, I think if you can like work out some of those kinks, I think the results you get with the 0.15 are going to be kind of impressive. I'm honestly impressed with the 0.25. I think it's a really good balance between really fine detail and still it's like a decent practical printing speed, if you want to call it that. It does make prints take longer, for sure. But some of it's not as significant as you'd think. Like, a lot of the print time is still going to be dictated by, like, the number of top layers and perimeters and stuff you do, since those are all movements that are a little bit slower than, like, your infill and stuff. Like that, your infill settings are going to have a lot of impact on your print times, but... Jen Cab says his MK2 arrives today. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, heck yeah. That's cool, man. I know I was lucky because I got mine early on. I didn't have to wait like weeks and weeks like a lot of people did. So I can't imagine how much the anticipation has been building for some of you guys that have been waiting so long. Derek asked, will I ever print with ABS, or am I concerned about the basically the lack of ventilation in my basement? Yeah, I am concerned about it, especially like having my daughter in the house and stuff. It does kind of worry me because I don't really have an easy way. Even if I'd want to spend some money and improve ventilation down here, I don't really have an easy way to do it. My basement walls, the soil level is basically past, like I don't have access to the outside even if I drill a hole in my basement wall. So I don't really have an easy way of improving ventilation down here, unfortunately. But from the talking I've done with a couple different people, if I do, I will eventually like branch out of PLA. But if I do, it'll probably go to like PETG or PETG and just kind of like skip ABS because I really won't need it for anything. All right, so we're going to do our live Z here. I got to say it's pretty close already. Again, I always like touch it because it's for me it's one of the easiest ways to tell. It's just like touch those outlines. It improved my live Z. I can tell you that already. There it looks like I'm at minus 0.18, right in that region, minus 0.175 to 0.18, and that seems about right. Again, I guess I should have moved my camera. But no, I think it did improve my Z height. Well, I think we knew that was going to happen because I brought the PINDA down. There, of course, the screen went away. But there you can see my live Z's at minus 0.18. I know it doesn't pick up the LED lights that good, but... and you can see on the print that looks about right. Well, I guess you can't really see the head's in the way, but... no, in the print, that looks about right. Yeah, I'm never going to get an angle that doesn't suck. But, yeah, you see that's the snowflakes I was talking about earlier. But no, that looks pretty good. So we're at minus 0.18. So, yeah. Yeah, I raised the PINDA up. You're correct. Yeah, that's true. I guess I said that the wrong way. You remember when we started and I used this and I brought my print head down, my PINDA was hitting before my nozzle was, so we loosened the PINDA, lowered the nozzle, and then tightened the PINDA at the height that was dictated by this little tool. So, I think when I measured it, I had a 1.5 millimeter difference, and I think someone else was what a tenth of a millimeter within that. So I think even given like the fluctuations in dimensional accuracy that printers are likely to have, I still think this is probably going to get people closer than they're going to get just kind of eyeballing it like I did my first time around. So. I gotta say, I think this would be useful to people, which I'm glad of. I'm glad this is going to be useful. But, yeah, it seems so. Aaron said, so a point, like we measured it. With mine printed on this machine, and I measured it with my calipers, there was a 1.5 millimeter difference between the nozzle height and the PINDA height, and that seems to be pretty good. Like I said, what did I say my live Z's at? My live Z's at... let me turn that off. My live Z's at minus 0.18, which is really good. So, yeah, it looks like we will actually be able to recommend this to people. I'm sorry, yeah, a 0.125, not 0.15 difference. 0.125 millimeter difference between these two thicknesses. So, yeah, and just a quick recap to anyone that's just joining us. What we were actually looking at was... this I still have the Brim from Hell picture here, but what we were actually looking at was this PINDA height calibration tool from Nerdville, and it's just a little tool that you can print out. Hopefully this will load here. Maybe it's easiest to just show it in Slicer or Simplify, but we have this little tool here that just gives you two little thicknesses. Your nozzle rests on this, and then your PINDA should rest on this, and it kind of gives you the correct orientation between the two to get your live Z adjust, you know, pretty close, apparently. But the concerns I had voiced at the beginning was that not all 3D printers are all that dimensionally accurate when they print, even ones that are fairly well calibrated. But I think even considering the fluctuations in dimensional accuracy that you're going to get from printer to printer, that this is still going to be pretty good. So yeah, it wasn't kind of an added little benefit. It wasn't a stupid thing to do to mess with my my PINDA height, because mine was at 0.3 before, so we basically cut the compensation in half, which is pretty good. Yeah, we're finally perpendicular after that battle on stream a little while ago. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna let this finish. I don't need more snowflakes, so we're gonna go ahead and stop this. But no, that seems good. First layer looks okay. It looks like, actually looking at it now with the print head out of the way, it looks like we could get down a hair more, but we're probably still only looking at like minus 0.2. So still an overall improvement. So yeah, way to go, Nerdville. I'll go ahead and link that print in the chat and then make sure it's in the description here. And there I just linked it in chat. Like I said, I'll make sure it's in the description of the video. And then also, there's really no reason not to. So while we're here, because I've only interacted with the guy from Nerdville like once or twice, but it's all been fairly pleasant. So there's no reason not to go ahead and where are we at here? Where are we at here? Again, here is the channel of the guy that made this part. And we can go ahead and check it out here. Here's Nerdville. And the first video that really ever was on my radar from Nerdville was the I guess this was kind of like his review, but we'll take a minute here. Check out the stop motion in the beginning of this. Where is it? Ah, where is it? He had like this badass stop motion thing. Is it in a different video? I'm confused. Or maybe it's his review here. I'm sorry. I must have thought it was a different video. And of course YouTube's gonna like give me a hard time now. Is this it? I'm sorry if it's not. But at any rate, I'm sorry. Give me a minute here. I'm gonna try to find it because it is worth giving a shout out to. Surely you guys remember. Do you guys remember like the badass like stop motion intro that he had on the one video? Where did that go? I thought it was on this one video here. He like changed it or something. What happened? Oh, I found it. Okay. Sorry, again, this is worth taking a moment to check out. So check out the stop motion he did of opening his MK2. I'll just let this play here for a minute, because this is pretty sweet. This rather obviously took a lot of work. But I thought this was at the beginning of the video, but apparently it's a minute or two in. I also see he got quite a bit more filament with his order than I did. I should have got more. Yeah, he's got like 8 boxes of filament there, damn it. I only had my kind of ugly orange Prusa PLA to start with. So I was printing with that for like 3 weeks. But no, this is the guy that designed this tool. This is his channel, so it's worth going over and giving him some love. More than likely, if you're subbed to me, you're probably already subbed to him. So, and I can't help but notice that he had like 4 sheets of PEI there. Damn it! I got 1 extra, but it seemed like a lot of people got like no extra. But yeah, cool stuff. Cool little stop motion kind of time lapse thing there. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, man? We were just giving your stop motion time lapse some love. Yeah, you are a little late. I have like a ton of stuff in the way here. Well, we were doing a couple things today. The main thing was I wanted to test your little tool out, and we did, and it seems good. I'm glad. I was just a little worried. Like I was talking about earlier, most people that are new, like they really flock to little tools like this, and I just wanted to do some quick like testing on stream to make sure it was copacetic. And yeah, everything seems good. When I started, my live Z was at minus 0.3. And after using your little tool and recalibrating stuff and rerunning XYZ and doing some first layers here, my live Z is at minus 0.18. So no, everything seems good. Nerdville said, "Yep, it's just to get peeps to a ballpark figure." I think you've actually accomplished better than just a ballpark figure. I think most people will be able to do like their kind of set and forget PINDA calibration with that, because like we were discussing like potential problems with the idea that like a lot of 3D printers aren't dimensionally accurate. Like even if you dimension a drawing like a certain way, a lot of times it won't translate depending on layer height and nozzle width and stuff. But I think even figuring in some inaccuracies with people using the 0.4 nozzle and then thicker layer heights and stuff, I still think this is going to get you close enough that you really won't need to tweak it much. Like Aaron said in chat, if you get between minus 0.4 or so and 0, like you're good to go. And I think even if somebody would have like a wildly inaccurate print, it's still going to be close enough that it's going to be fine. But no, it all seems good. No, way to go, man. It's things like this really help the community, because I remember when I was adjusting my PINDA at the beginning, it is kind of like a frustrating process. And anybody that remembers those videos, I actually drove the nozzle into my PEI sheet the first time I tried to do it, because it's just kind of, the first time you do it, it's kind of like a shot in the dark, and you need to just kind of like test it, and my shot in the dark was wrong. So yeah, if I did have any suggestions, I would recommend you just put some even though most people are going to be just doing this with default slicer settings, I'd recommend just throwing up some like basic slicing guidelines for this for people who are like completely new. Oh, Nerdville just said he's actually designing a better PINDA adjuster. Please do. I know you missed all that, but I was complaining the whole time about kind of what a pain in the ass the basic setup that it comes with is. It is kind of a pain. It's kind of like an awkward kind of holding mechanism that they have there. But no, very good. I think this was a productive stream. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time to stream today. It looks like we're at about an hour and 15, so I'm going to wrap it up here in the next 5, but no, very cool, man. Like I said, I was a little skeptical at first, but I'm really glad I was wrong, because I think this will be something that I can actually like actively recommend people use. Because that's why I wanted to test it right away, is because if it is worth getting out there, I do want to recommend people use it, because I know the PINDA adjustment's something that's kind of a struggle for especially new people just getting their printer. But yeah, very good, man. But all right, let me catch up on chat here. I haven't been paying much attention. Oh yeah, and good job. That obviously you've gotten a lot of praise for the stop motion there, but that stuff's very cool. I've always been a fan of Wallace and Gromit, and that gives me those warm fuzzies like that show used to. Yeah, I didn't actually. I guess we should have pulled the drawing up and actually checked like the dimensions that you had, but mine was printed. If I haven't said that already, I have the 0.25 millimeter nozzle installed, and this was at a 0.15 millimeter layer height, and mine dimensionally ended up coming out to 1.25 millimeter difference between these two layers when it was all said and done, which seems to be pretty damn good for your PINDA orientation, like that difference between the hot end and the PINDA. So. Adam Fusion said, point 0.1, again, he's talking about layer heights. 0.1 would be best, but 0.2 or 0.3 should not matter. I agree, ideally, if you do print this, you should probably print at the lowest layer height you can stand to print at, because it's a small print. Even if you print it at 0.1, it's not going to take all that long. And it'll give you a little bit better dimensional accuracy if you print at a smaller layer height. So, yeah, I'd recommend at 0.1 if you can. I mean, you could print it at 0.5, that'd be even better, but 0.1 seems to be like, I don't know, the most practical. Like Adam said, his was printed at 0.2, and his difference in planes was 1.5 millimeter as opposed to the 1.25 millimeter we saw. But no, overall very cool. So yeah, like I said, guys, that's going to be pretty much it for today. I just wanted to do that quick since I had a little bit of time here. I'm going to be shooting some other stuff today and hopefully getting those videos up. Some of the ornaments and Christmassy kind of crap I was showing you earlier. Saved a lot of money on gifts this year, having a 3D printer. Like my wife has, I think, like 18 women she works with in her office. And we were able to, like, they always give like very small gifts, but we were able to like 3D print all the gifts we gave, like little ornaments and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, it's sweet having a 3D printer. Very, very cool little machine to have. Even if you don't get a Prusa, I think just having one in general is pretty sweet. But yeah, thanks everybody. I do thank everybody. Like, it's so cool. We're growing like steadily. Like we've been averaging, like there's 50 people in chat here. That's what we've been like averaging for most of the streams now, which is awesome. That's like totally awesome. I'm glad you guys like hanging out with me here. The link to the snowflakes, I can do that before we go here. It might take me a second here. There's like a billion snowflakes on Thingiverse, but there's ones that I printed seem to be like the design that I like the most. There's a lot of cool designs. Like if I just share my monitor here, there's like a ton of snowflakes here on Thingiverse, but a lot of them aren't very practical prints. Like they're a little too fragile. I'll take a second here and find the one that I printed. There's a lot of them that look cool, but they're not very practical because you print them out and they just break like ridiculously easy. So hopefully I can find it. The one I ended up settling on was like kind of a mix. It was kind of like a trade-off. Like it does look like a snowflake, but at the same time, it's not like overly fragile or anything. And then I actually, if you look on these are at 125% dimensionally and then 175% on the thickness, and it gives them like a nice kind of beefy feel. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. There's so many snowflakes on here. I will try to put it in the description of the video. And then, like I said, I'll be shooting this video today. So that'll probably be going up tonight. Because these are very easy to do. You essentially just print them out. I scuffed the back and front with sandpaper really lightly. And then I didn't even have to base coat them because they're silver. And then we bought some white glitter spray paint from Walmart and just sprayed them, and then got a nice little piece of ribbon and put through the mounting hole, and they make nice little ornaments. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find him. There's like a million snowflakes on here. I'll give it a few more seconds. I'll try. Some stuff, it's just like it's overwhelming how much of it's on Thingiverse. And the Christmas craze has definitely hit hard. Processing. There are a lot of cool ones on here, though. Oh, there it is. Okay. I found it. Oh, no, that's not it. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. False alarm. Looks like it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my cat is upstairs, like, pacing like crazy. He's like the coolest cat and like the most annoying cat at the same time. I've never really talked about him. He is very much like a dog. I'll have to dig out some old videos and share on like a hangout stream one day. Our cat is actually like leash trained. We have an Ossa cat. It's like, it is a domestic breed, but he kind of looks like an ocelot. He has like spots and stuff. I can't find it. I'm sorry. I give up. There's too many. I can't find it. But I'll hunt it down and make sure it's linked in the video for this. Was it Lauren's snowflakes from A Buzz Designs? Maybe. It would be pretty funny if it is. That kind of makes sense because A Buzz Design is I'm struggling with words here. She's the woman that Joel recently did like a shout out video for. I don't think it is. She doesn't seem to have. No, I don't think it is actually. She has a couple snowflakes on, but it doesn't seem to be this one. But yeah, like I said, it'll be in the description of this video. It'll be up in the next 24 hours, hopefully, if all goes well. But let me catch up on chat here, and then we're gonna call it a day. I gotta go up and let my cat out. He's stressing me out. Lee said, "Congrats on 1300." Oh, did we hit 1300? I knew we were close. I knew we were like 1297 or something. But yeah, like I said, I thank everybody. I thank everybody for the support and stuff. It's crazy we've grown so quick. Yep, no link for the snowflake, unfortunately. I can't find it, but I will hunt that down. I've had a couple things that I got a Thingiverse that I think the file got taken down from between the time I printed it and then went back to find the link for it. I don't know why. I guess users just like take their stuff down occasionally for whatever reason, but hopefully the snowflake isn't one of them because I do have the STL still, but yeah, maybe it was on the Tinker site. I don't know. But I'll find it. I'll make sure it gets out there. But yeah, thanks everybody. Usual YouTube crap. If there's anybody new here that hasn't subbed and you kind of like the format of the streams and stuff, or you know, enjoyed yourself or found me entertaining, whatever you get out of it, consider subbing. And then anybody that's subbed and kind of hasn't been following what's happened with YouTube, if you want updates, you have to opt into them now. So there's like the little bell thing beside the sub button. And if you actually want updates from a channel, not just me, like anybody you're sub to, make sure you go to that channel and hit the little bell thing, because otherwise you won't get updates. Yeah, ring that bell. Bell me, bros. It's like, yeah, that makes me want to facepalm that has to be like a thing we do on YouTube now. Lee asked, how's Patreon going? Ridiculously, to put it mildly. Patreon was always kind of just a thing. Like I kept getting people like asking me about it. And I put my Patreon up. If you guys saw, I did like a little video on it. Like it's not something I'm ever going to mention all that much. This week I'm going to get the little segment that I do at the end of my videos, like rolling credits for all my Patreon supporters. But I think I have like 14 or 15 patrons already, which is, again, mind-blowing. I'm glad you guys like feel like I'm contributing something worthwhile to the community and stuff. So yeah, thanks a million. Thanks a million to all you guys for supporting me on Patreon. That's amazing. Did all the gifts get sent out? Most of them did. There's still one or two that I have to like. Mostly the guys in Sweden. I'm still like trying to get pricing worked out. I have to like shop around, and like I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, I was like very ill for like the last 3 or 4 days. Yeah, the bulk of the last 3 days was spent trying not to just puke my brains out. Ultimately, I failed at that, unfortunately, but yeah, most of that stuff's sent out, so you guys should be, Joey especially, yours did get sent out, so it should be there soonish. There probably is a little bit delay on mail, being that it's like so close to Christmas, but no, all you guys that won stuff, if any of you guys are here, like it is coming your way, so yeah. I'll quit lingering. Thanks everybody. I'll be streaming again Thursday. It'll probably be about 10 a.m. I'll schedule that stream now that I can do that. So it'll be scheduled here. So it'll give you the countdown and all that crap. And I'll start on time like usual. But yeah, I'll stream Thursday. Video or two coming out in the next day or two. But yeah, thanks everybody. Give the PINDA calibration tool a go. Because even if you're calibrated already, you might be able to get it a little better. So it's worth giving it a print. And I definitely make a little bit of an effort to get the word out to new people. If you run into anybody that's new and is struggling with that, I just mention it to them that it is worth giving it a go. It might save them a lot of headache. But yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.